Well, I'm here to interview Grace Jean for performing at the Brockton Public Library. Shout out to all my friends at New Heights and Mayor Sullivan, my friend. Okay, Grace, when did you first realize you wanted to be a writer?
For me, it wasn't really a realization. It kind of happened out of the blue. The night before, I read The Uncomfortable Conversations by Manuel Atro, and it was a great book. And I guess it just inspired my mind. I'd never written poetry before, and I just started writing it down. And then I was like, let me search up some words to rhyme and see what I can put together for myself. But yeah, that's kind of how it started. It's kind of weird.
But it runs in the family though, doesn't it?
It does. My mother is a poet. I would call her a poet with that official title.
What does your family think of your writing, speaking of?
Very supportive. I think maybe it was something unexpected it was unexpected for me too. When I was in elementary school, the first poem I read was by Robert Frost, and I didn't get it, and I didn't get it, so I didn't like it. And I was like, I'm not doing this anymore, I don't like it. And so for me to be here now, writing my own poetry, it's kind of ironic, so yeah, but they're super supportive.
Are you reading your mother's poetry often? And is that generating some new ideas for you too?
I read a couple of her pieces. I need to read more. She's kind of like me. She kind of holds it in. I'm trying to get myself out more, and so hopefully that pushes her to get herself out more too.
Has your idea of poetry changed since you began writing poems? You sort of spoke to that a little bit already.
That's an interesting question. I think for me, it's just kind of a document of my feelings and my place in the world in the context of a lot of things, how certain issues that affect everyone and how they affect me in my life. It's always just been a kind of me thing, so it is weird at first for me to be sharing it, because to me, poetry is really personal and feels too personal to be shared. But I've learned to become more comfortable to do so.
And I'm glad you did. What are the most surprising emotions you have learned from writing poetry? Oh, that's good.
Crying.
Yeah.
Crying. I can't even see the screen anymore. I remember I wrote a poem at night. This doesn't happen that often, but it does happen where I start writing in my head, in my dream, and then I'm gonna forget it if I wake up tomorrow, so I'm just gonna have to open my eyes at 3 a.m., whatever time it is, and just start writing. And unexpectedly, wow, this really made me emotional. And there's certain things that I've gone through that I thought I was fully healed from, but then when I wrote it, it was she still has more work to do, but it's fine.
Well, writing down is healing too. What is the one question you wish an interviewer would ask you? On the spot.
I know, that's difficult. Maybe what your story is, and you kind of asked me what led me to poetry, but I guess the experiences that may have led me there. Yeah.
So we can expect your book to be published in spring of 2026, is that right?
Yes. Yes, that's the plan.
You heard it here first.
I know, now I gotta hold on to it. I'll see you soon.
We'll be back to promote.
Welcome, my name is Philip Asaurus. I am the poet laureate of Brockton and host of Everyone Has a Voice. And today we have the pleasure of welcoming Jean-Denis Washine as our feature poet. Before he does his magic, we'd like to do a little interview. So, Jean-Denis, what early experience taught you that language had power?
I started writing early, but that was the way, that was the connection. I realized that was the way to connect with the reality of home. I realized that was my way to speak, to say something, to have a voice.
Now, once you discovered poetry, how long did it take you to start sharing it?
Oh, we didn't wait. Writing for me, it's from the beginning. First, writing is to read aloud. anything you write is to read, because we come from a tradition of storytelling. You know, you read the poem, you write the poem, it is in your head, and you go around reciting and sharing it for the folks. If I know for me writing could be a profession, I don't think I would waste time wanting to be a lawyer, a doctor, or a mechanical engineering. I wouldn't waste time, I would just do it. Started in it early, but for me it was a little game that I discovered that connected me to things, and I was happy there.
So I've known you for going on, what, 25, 30 years now?
30, it's fair to say 30.
I know, but we still look good, right?
Oh, life is good.
Life is good. So in that period of time, how have you evolved as a writer or a poet?
Oof, but I think it's heavy when one's call himself or herself a poet, because that comes with duties. You know, you can only be the poet, a poet for the act of writing only. For example, through writing, I become, I live as an ambassador for my country, wherever I am. I speak Haiti, I write Haiti, I dream Haiti. That's my writing. And if you love something, you practice it, of course you'll be better at it.
So can you tell us some of the influences that inspire you as an individual?
In my life, there was a woman. This woman, she only wrote letters to family members. And she was the closest person to me. Not my mother, she's not my mother, my aunt. She taught me about trust, because she trusts me very early. So that's a beautiful thing. You go out there with no fear. Even later I realized she was afraid for me, but she let her trust overwhelm that fear and let me be, give me a chance to discover myself in everything. And then a cousin of mine, a dear cousin of mine, the poet, when I was 12 years old, when I started secondary school, and I saw that guy running around reciting poetry, I said, wow, that was beautiful. And that was my cousin too. Yeah, these people, and his name is Ernst Joachim. Ernst Joachim, see. And now we share poetry.
Okay, last question.
Last.
Toughest question. What is the one question you wish an interviewer would ask you?
Yes. That question is why? Why no one speaks of Haiti today? Because it seems that the world is sleeping around what's happening in that land. Right now, Haitians can't leave their country, nor Haitians abroad can go to their country. What have we done? Haiti is not at war with any other country but
Itself.
They put an invisible walls around us that separate us from the rest of the world. Why no one speak of it? It's just not fair to leave it only to us, Haitians, to speak about that. Okay. That would be the question I wish everyone would stop me on the street and ask me.
And ask it once again.
Yeah, why? Why is it that no one speaks of Haiti today? Why? Today Haiti is isolated. What have we done? Please, speak of that country, please.
So thank you very much. We look forward to your reading. And thanks to Amaya.
Merci un peu, merci un peu.
Merci. Welcome to your Brockton Library. My name is Philip Soros. I am the Brockton Poet Laureate. And today is, we have a very special feature. We have two very special features today. Grace Alexandra Jean and Jean-Denis Washim. I'm looking forward to hearing their words. But at first we're going to have the open mic, and I will start the open mic. We just had an interview with Jean-Denis, and he spoke about why people are not speaking about Haiti. So this is the first poem I was going to read. One of my great joys since becoming Poet Laureate is the support from the Haitian community. Before and throughout my tenure, Jean-Denis Washim, Joseph Polique, Mario Malvant, our youth poet laureate, Hannah Baptiste, and Boston Poet Laureate, Danielle Legros Georges, who sadly the poetry community lost this week. This poem is dedicated to them.
Yeah.
We endured for the people of Haiti. Haitian proverb: we are born of love. Love is our mother. When you look into your mother's eyes, you know that it is the purest love you can find on this earth. My children, my heart aches for you, you who departed my turbulent shores. I call out to you, do not forget me. I ask not for forgiveness. My spirit, which is in each of you, longs to hold you in my bosom once again. I request your patience in this authentic declaration. I know you as you know me. Although stripped of our dignity, we endured against the Spanish. We rose, we persevered. In solidarity with André Rigard, we forced the British to flee our wrath. And with brothers in arms, we shed tears for Toussaint Louverture. We declared our independence in triumph as our generals towered over the French, expelling them and their crimes against humanity. Humanity? Our humanity lay bare against our will to survive, for our families, for our God, for our right to breathe the air, to shed tears of joy and pain on our own terms. Let us not forget, even here in this land of opportunity, we suffered under the rule of thumb. Dear Lady Liberty, your torch does not light the way. We rose and endured the shackles of our oppressors, the whips that cracked into the skin, leaving remnants of despair until I could no longer hold in my anger and the earth shook. My tears were on fire and the dry dust of my heart enveloped all the years of suffering. Mortals, my tears fell, leaving traces, scattered memories. My life, spirit ascended to the center core of your being. My children, I call out to you, do not forget me. I ask not for forgiveness. I await when we will be one. My thoughts are but shadows. My love is breath whispering. We, you, I, our birthright. In the land of the mountains, let the winds cast our stories. The generations be our legacy as we, as one, proclaim. I know the Haitian people. We are the Haitian people. My children, life is good in the land of the mountains. So yesterday was Valentine's Day, so of course we have to do a little romantic poem. Receptive. Never ending, whispered into my breath. Your heart is beating a mile a minute. Her ear lightly pressed against my chest, caving in. I am lying in my self-coffin. The cool sheet ripples against the shadows of light, flexing their momentum. Silence crawls like tectonic plates. I think of Lazarus. Bring you to mind's eye. See you in my consciousness. Night carries us to morning and approaches with no sound. First light sighs, waits for the scent of dew, awakens remembrance, and this half-dream reflection, intimacy between water and the flesh of nature. One last time, we turn, receptive to the delicate mist that drapes the last kiss before the next. Confident, she stands and turns into the headwind and withdraws one last time. Please welcome Mario Morgant.
Good afternoon. I'm going to read two poems from Danielle Legault-Georges, as she just said, and she passed away Tuesday, February 11th. She was very active in the poetry community. She was a poet laureate in 2014, and she was a great friend of mine. First poem is a Dominican poem. If you are born and you are stateless, if you are born and you are homeless, if your state and home are not yours, and yet everything you know, what are you? Who are you? And who am I without the dark fields I walk upon, the streets I know, the blue corners I call mine, the ones you call yours? Who am I to call myself citizen, and human and free? And who are you to call yourself landed and grounded and free? And who is judge enough? Who citizen enough? And who native? Who other? And who are we who move so freely without accents of identification, without scheme of identification, with all manner of identification, with gold seals of approval, with stamps of good fortune, with the accident of blameless birth? Who are we to be so lucky? Second poem is in, just as Philip did, it's in the St. Valentine's Day spirit. That, in fact, is the title of the book, The Dear Remote Nearness of You. Across the space, you seem to pixelate a dream, a breakage, and a screen, your simulacrum. Since the last I held you fast, en chair et en os, one joint against the next, your hand soft on my neck, your clavicle and chest, my breast against your breast. Like this, 3 years have passed, like water, air, like glass, on dusty roads, in plains, on mountain tops, and me against the you I thought you were, and you against your sense of me. And finally, and still, and yet some space above it all, for falling free, while somehow tied, knotted to a ribbon, the small boat on the ocean, the wood on oar and open sea. Thank you.
Please welcome Adeline Ellenberg to the open mic.
Phil and I have known each other for years. He still gets my name wrong. It's Adeline. It was my grandmother's name, so I had that version of the name. Anyway, for Valentine's Day, I was going to read a very short love poem. Summer's wild rose, once plucked, deepens its delicate pink flush greenly within a maze of raindrop lucidity. So my heart ensnared beats redly, madly, sweetly within my ribcage of crystal fragility. And then I have another poem, and that's all. And this one is about getting older, as you can see from my white hair. And this is called In the Middle Years. Long gone the dewy skin of youth, the supple muscles with quick spring, the bright gleam of sharp tooth, the dreams of fortune taking wing. Now it's time to pause and ponder, calculate the gain and loss, treat unknowns with a sense of wonder as mysteries yet to cross. Do souls run on electricity? And why do spirits haunt this house? What is it that makes you love me? Must good and evil forever joust? As I get older, my wonder grows, while my certainties become bereft, until I am left undone, Lord knows, with only faith to provide the rest. Thank you.
As usual, excellent poetry from Adeline.
Said it right.
So for our last person on the open mic, please welcome Ms. Pauline Ayers.
Grandma. Hey, lady. I do wonder, how did you do it? Raise so many, the mother of us all, no matter how small. The 5-feet giant. That's what you are. You work the field, you plant the corn, and still had time for us all. Hey, Grandma. You're an example to us all. I love you. My grandma passed at 95. Still remember. This is called dreaming. Who are you? A friend of mine, a companion, a friend in all that to sip wine, a lover of long ago. In my dreams, you came to life. In your dreams, I did the same. You listened when I spoke. You were there when I was in need, and I was there for you. Your laughter is like obsession. It covers my body's desire. Your words are like no brother, yet you are not my intent. You dry my tears with your explanation and your reason for my struggles. You show me how to hope again. Friend of mine, you are a mere man, yet you are like no other. That I want with my intent, yet we can never get there. How can I show you how much I appreciate your time and your laughter, your words and your compassion? My friends, my friend, maybe when I see you in my dreams, I will tell you in my dreams. This is Black History Month. I don't usually talk before I read, but this is Black History Month, and I have listened and I have done a lot of reading and stuff like that. And one of the things that us as Black people do, we always blame the white man. But I think talking to a lot of my people, we need to realize that the word white man does not necessarily define everyone that is white. So I had written this poem and I took it out. Showing love to the white man. I want to show my love to the white man. Yes, I do. The ones who help us to be here today. We could not have done so well without them. The one whom, if it were not for them, the Underground Railroad would not be possible. Our struggles would be much more difficult. The ones who sat and ate at the same table with my ancestors, even through slavery time till now. The ones who, instead of picking up a knife or a gun against us, raised their hands and embraced us. The ones who always opened the door when my people had no option but to escape from their oppressors. The ones who thought my people, my ancestors, to read or write when they were told they were not allowed to read or write. The ones who stood up and marched with our leaders, both past and present. The ones who lost their lives in the name of equality. The ones who did not see color, but see us as we are. The ones who realize our struggles are real. Who knew that today would be so different, but the same? We are still fighting, but the support is still there. We must acknowledge not that everyone is the same. As a Black woman, I am subjected by almost every day by someone. What I also know is that there is always someone standing by me. The one who does not look down on me and my children because we are Black. The ones who, when they see me, does not tell me I am not good enough. Does not block me when I want to start a business or get a mortgage. The ones who help me me to have hope, love, faith in people. So again, I want to show my love to those white people who know themselves and know the word white and the bad treatment of my people does not define everyone in their race. I know. Because the word black people and the negativity that goes along with us does not define us all.
So I'm going to give Pauline a new middle name, so it's now Pauline Passionate.
Oh, jeez!
Now it gives me pleasure to introduce one of our features. Please welcome to the microphone, Grace Alexandra Jr.
Hello everyone. I will be performing 2 poems about the first thing you noticed about me. I'm black. And in honor of Black History Month, I will reflect on systemic racism throughout history and what it means for me to be here freely expressing myself. Racism, segregation, slavery, white privilege, discrimination, Ku Klux Klan, Jim Crow. When will all these things go? The same men who claim all men are created equal prove in their actions it's a lie, because those same men are the ones who are making my people die. Those men say the 13th Amendment abolish and prevent slavery for all. Those men were just beginning the construction of a wall. But I say, to all my people and to those who support us, we must make sure we don't fall, for it's our duty to stand tall. It is because of those men we are in fear every day. Black kids are being killed. Will I die the same way? Those folks don't want to accept that the American dream is still a dream. Unfortunately, things are not what they may seem. Those same folks today like to forget without regret. In fact, they make it seem like we're in debt. To the people of America and across the globe, you have to accept. You may be one of many who want to move forward, but in order to do that, we have to go backwards. Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat. So just for a second, I want you to think with me. You are black in the USA when these laws are in place. You have limited resources because of your race. The damage and oppression has continued to grow. Anyone want to talk about Jim Crow? If not, he is a person you should know. Of course, you are denied the right to vote, and you can't get a job because of what those men wrote. You are denied an education and don't know when the injustice will be slain in this nation. You are denied to eat vanilla ice cream. You want to scream, so you wonder, what should I do? If you protest, for instance, you know what will happen to you. If you protest, this could be the death of you. But deep down, you know this isn't the end. You are taught to do what's right, even if the rules have to bend. You are taught to do what's right because you still have a message to send. We hear no justice, no peace, and yet we can't even trust the police. They take over our streets because without justice, there is no peace. They put their knees on our necks without cease. Those same folks get away with murder because if it was the reverse one way or another, they'd hurt her. Those same folks destroy black kids just trying to stay alive, yet black teenagers just want to get their license and drive, but now we're being pulled over to the side, wondering if we're going to survive. Those same folks today treat us like we're scum. Those same folks think we are dumb. They throw us away like a piece of gum. No matter how they try to make me succumb and feel numb, I truly believe we shall overcome. Free is the one who doesn't need to be taught to be. I have been conditioned to compare my hair and the clothes I wear as if someone else could teach me how to be me. Free is the one who knows their roots as deep as a tree. As if I could ever forget my ancestors didn't know what it felt like to be free. Free is the one who knows how to swim to survive in the sea, as if I could forget that being alive is to be free. Because freedom has never been free for me, for us. The definition of free means not costing or charging anything, to not subject to the control or domination of another. So why is it that for me to be able to live like I'm free, I am walking on the soil of the black bodies of someone else's mother, of someone else's brother? Why is it that for me to drink from the same water fountain, my people were forced to overcome a great mountain? I ask myself every day why we have to dig so many graves, but I know it's because the system has made us slaves. Why is it that because I am able to speak to you, using my tongue, that millions of my brothers and sisters had to be hung? But that's the thing. They didn't have to be. Humans were meant to be equal, to be free. Yet freedom has never been free for us. We've always been thrown to the back of a bus. So when we talk about it, don't act like it's a fuss. You never cared nor respected us. You considered us 3/4 of a person. You wrote us as equals, but didn't give us the right to vote. I will never forget the years of enslavement, forcibly taking millions squeezed onto one boat. And when you said they were finally free, I could still see the gun. I could already see the bullets and that you were about to pull it. I could already smell the gunpowder that you would use to enforce your power. I could see your hand holding trigger in your mouth you would use to say. So don't tell me that you haven't seen us less than just because we're making progress. I am tired of having to pay for freedom because by definition it shouldn't cost us a penny, but it costs us so many lives and stories that still are unwritten and some that will forever remain untold. But if they're listening now, I want them to know I will tell their story because I am free.
One question, what were you doing when you were 16 years old? I wasn't writing like that, I can tell you that much. Thank you, Grace, that was wonderful. And now for our feature. He was the Cambridge Poet Laureate, a populist. I've known Jean Denis for over 25 years. He's an amazing poet, and we are thrilled to have him back here at the Brockton Public Library. Please welcome Jean Denis Washington.
Thank you. Merci un pile. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I'm happy to read poetry. It's an honor to be here. This week is difficult because a dear friend, community member, passed, and she left us a bit early, too early. Yes, it's a bit very difficult. But I'm more sad for the fact that our country has lost her. She was a voice, a very important voice for Haiti. And it is sad for Haiti to be losing voices like Daniel's right now. I wrote a poem to remember Daniel. What a way, what can you offer a poet to a poet when the poet is gone? Leaves us too early. So I will start with that. I'll share that with you. It is called Daniel Le Beau Georges, Haitian artist. Chaque fois dans mon passé, la vie toujours continue. C'est pas tout nom qui arrive écrasé. Through many seasons, death stood as her shadow. The artist never French. Elle a continué son parcours dans une explosion de création qu'aucune mort ne saurait effacer. Même nouvelle la mort, dans pas compte, pas de camité frein dans rêve la vie pour payer. She screamed, "Hell no, we're not the hemisphere poorest nation. Take another look at history." Et jusqu'au bout, l'artiste a insisté avec ses mots étincelles, avec des mots étincelles pour la dignité de ses siècles. Daniel Le Faucheur. I know of a country, they say, where everything has a voice. From the worst thing of leaves to the distant murmur in the night. Even the grains of sand you step on as you walk along the beach. If you pay attention, you can hear them urging you to move on or warning you to go further, not to go further. And if you listen closely enough, you can hear the loud voices of silence. I am a self-declared ambassador for Haiti, so I write Haiti, I speak Haiti, so that's what you're getting. And this next poem speaks of home again. It says, "O world, let me introduce you to my country, Haiti. A small island firmly rooted in the Caribbean, a green space filled with beauty. The Indigo Sea bathes its flanks, the waves with voices of 1,000 instruments, day and night singing melodies to her. Its rivers dance and meander, refreshing and nourishing its carpet. Corn, coffee, and sugar cane once abundant here. Rich in nature, with its mild climate, this land was born for friendship and peace. Its landscape, a canvas to be desired by all. The peace of life matches the island's ambience. Generosity abounds and souls are warm. Smiles and joy light up every face. The sun in its generosity visits every day. Our skies are starry and our nights are magical. My country, a corner of paradise, a land of dreams. And by an unfortunate accident, one fine day, Christopher Columbus and his companions landed. One of their ships was wrecked on our shores. Deception, betrayal, massacre, and horror impregnated the island soil. Exploitation through and through. Live free or perish was our only option. We joined forces to overthrow it all. And in 1791, we said no to their servitude. We broke the chains, demanding justice, freedom, and dignity, to the echo of drums and lambeats call. The rest of the world was witness. We gave a helping hand to neighboring peoples and beyond. And we are still paying the price. We celebrate life with beating heart. Oh world, hear our song of resilience, for our island forever is renaissance. When I'm not speaking about Haiti, I speak of peace. I am a man of peace. And I share with you this one that is called a simple wish. I wish for peace in the world, that no one is killed in schools anymore. Peace, especially in Haiti, this country that suffers so much without having harmed anyone. I would like to see the end of hunger on the planet, where there is so much waste. I am not sure if this might be too much, but I would like, if possible, to ask for the abolition of wars and weapons. And my very, very last wish will be for grown-ups to start playing like children again. And another one, that's called resurrection. I call for the resurrection of countries in distress. May suffering people know that naked hope is vain. Time passes, never to return. To suffer headlong is to accept senseless condemnation. There must always be a way out, even when breath is fleeing. May the ashes of the past not be in vain, for light can rise from darkness. May every tear shed be a drop of seed, growing our strength in the fight for freedom. May every little struggle be a step towards the great liberation. I call for the resurrection of souls, so that oppression of man by man may cease everywhere. May suffering people know that they hold their future in their hands. Living in harmony is no utopia. The remote control missiles, which English or French, I don't know, how to say it? Missile, okay. The remote control missiles can be diffused. Flowing water can reach all places to water seeds. Hunger is a human invention that can be abolished. May the rains of lead cease so the air can breathe the long-awaited return to life and dignity. I call for the resurrection of the planet. I am not complaining, but sometimes, I mean, I take it as a blessing. Sometimes the languages are competing in my head, how the world should come out. That's one thing we lost. Back home, growing up, every poem I wrote was in my head. And you go around and people just call you and say the name of the poem and you recite it. When I started living here, I discovered the practice of reading. And I think maybe I started to write in English, so I didn't have the language completely in my head, so I started to read with paper. So now, not too many poems. I lost that faculty of writing and for it to stay right there. But I can still practice and to remember some. So, immigrant. I am from the ocean. I am from sugar cane. I am from writing poetry. I am from happiness. I am words with no curves. I am the mainland with no boundaries. I am hope tinted with shadow. I am heavy rain. I am here. I am now. I am staying. Immigrant. Immigrant. Moi c'est petite langue. Moi c'est petite chancan. Moi c'est petite poésie. Moi sorti dans triple la joie. Moi c'est parole sans chapeau, pas de lisière. Moi c'est l'espoir qu'en bas nous braille. Moi c'est tempête la pluie. Moi c'est saouéa. Moi c'est kouniéa. Moi pas fait yon pa kita. Yon pa nabo. Immigrant. This poem, after living here for a while, I wrote it in lieu of introduction. You know, where are you from? Who are you? I said it all. Oh, let me read this poem I wrote not too long ago for you, and then we'll make a little love together, and then I'll go home. I wrote this one that's called The Other Side. The Other Side. Beware, what you see could be obstructed or merely an illusion. The grass may appear greener, the area filled with shade, even life may seem better. Perhaps it is chaos you witness, and competence croak in arrogance, vulgarity and soulless bullies scrambling for power, or a blank page. Beware, the other side might be your own making. Okay. And this is, ça c'est pour la caille. Dans la coucaille de dos, tu as un petit oiseau qui va jamais voler haut. Dans la coucaille de dos, tu as un petit oiseau qui va jamais voler haut. Chaque jour qui t'est passé, ces ailes, il t'a veillé pour aussi à pousser. Dans la coucaille de dos, tu as un petit oiseau qui va jamais voler haut. Chaque jour qui t'est passé, ces ailes, il t'a veillé pour aussi à pousser. Yon jour mercredi soir, petits oiseaux fin ouéwa. Petits oiseaux fin ouéwa, il dit fol jou qui boit. Yon jour mercredi soir, petits oiseaux fin ouéwa, il dit fol jou qui boit. Dans la coucaille de l'eau, dans la coucaille de l'eau. Il y a un petit oiseau qui va jamais voler. Chaque jour qui t'est passé, ses ailes, il t'a veillé pour essayer à pousser. Et un jour mercredi soir, petits oiseaux fin ouéwa, il dit faut le jour qui boit. Mais il n'y a pas de jambe qu'on est, si petit grand chimère, t'es capable de faire chagrin. Mais il n'y a pas de jambe qu'on est, si petit grand chimère, t'es capable de faire chagrin. Okay, now some love in my head. Let's see what I remember of love in my head. Je suis venu te voir, tu n'y étais pas. J'ai vu les fleurs qui se réveillent et l'espoir qui sommeille sur l'oreiller. I came to visit, you were not there. I saw the flowers waking up and hope resting on the pillow. Dans la ville où tu n'étais pas, Sans cesse, je poursuivais tes pas. Avec les étoiles où tu étais, je ne savais pas que tu me guidais. In the city where you were not incessantly, I look for you. With the stars where you were, I did not know you were guiding me. Okay, this one. Je marche sans compter mes pas. Je marche sans compter mes pas. Je ne veux plus me rappeler que 1000 fois j'ai contourné la ville à ta rencontre. J'ai vu d'abord le soleil, puis la lune, et j'ai vu les étoiles. Et j'ai vu le soleil, puis la lune, et les étoiles. Et je marche, et je marche, et je marche. I walk without counting my steps. I did not want to remember how many times that I have circled the city to meet you. First, I saw the sun, then the moon and the stars. And I saw the sun again, and the moon and the stars. And I walk, and I walk, and I walk. Te espero, te espero. Camino sin contar mis pasos. No quiero recordarme más que 1000 veces he dado la vuelta en la ciudad para encontrarte. He visto primero el sol, pues la luna y las estrellas. Y he visto el sol y la luna y las estrellas. Y camino, y camino, y camino. Anabagay, you say no more. I love poetry everywhere.
So I'm going to let you in on a little secret. So every November, the first Saturday in November, Brockton Library presents Voices of Diversity, Voices of America, where we have 12 poets speaking in poetry of in their language, of their heritage. We've featured over 40 languages and dialects since we started this. And this is the man who inspired Voices of Diversity, Voices of America.
Yes, young people, life is good. Thank you.
So before I close, I would like to tell you about some inspirational poetry that's going to be happening here. In March, which is Women's Month, March 8th, Saturday, right here at the Driscoll Art Gallery, we're going to have 4 amazing women reading from the women's voices from the canon and original works. And then a week later, March 15th, for Everyone Has a Voice, Makwana Onifad and Brianna Deerfold, who is a student at New Heights Charter School, will be our features. And on April 5th, Saturday, in the Lingus Auditorium, we're going to have conversations with our poet laureates. And we are going to have the poet laureates from Amesbury, Arlington, Boston, Brockton, Brookline, Malden, Plymouth, Rockport, Salem, Somerville, Westwood, and Worcester. They're all coming here. If you ever wanted to ask a poet laureate a question, you're going to have your chance because we're going to do an audience question and answer. And let us today thank our people who did the open mic, Pauline, Adeline, Mario. Thank you for your open mic, for your poetry. Grace.
Thank you, Grace.
Thank you. And of course, Jean-Denis.
Merci beaucoup.
And everybody who came to listen. So we'll see you March 8th, March 15th, and April 5th. Thank you very much.
Thank you.